This is Japan, the world's third largest and most advanced economy, the healthiest country in the world, where you will see 90-year-old people walking around normally, zero crime rate. Top quality education and excellent standard of living make Japan an ideal country to live. But behind all this progress and development, there is a very terrible reality hidden. A dark reality that very few people talk about. Today in this video we are going to expose this reality, and also how Japan may completely collapse in the future. Many people might have forgotten this by now, but in 1980, Japan was considered the next superpower. At that time, the common thought was that Japan would very soon replace America, and in exactly the same way it will control the economy of the entire world, like China is doing today. There was a lot of trouble in America regarding Japan. Even entire movies were made on it, such as Die Hard, Rising Sun, Blade Runner, etc., in which it was shown how the Japanese corporation would take over the entire America. A major reason for this fear was the impressive economic growth, which Japan had achieved in the last few years. At that time, Japan's economic system was considered much better and stronger than the Western economic model. Japanese stock markets were booming, Japanese things were prevalent all over the world, be it a car, electronics or medical items. At that time, people in Japan knew that as soon as they graduated from university, they would get a job immediately, and then life is set because almost every job in Japan is a lifetime job. Japan was literally unstoppable, and by 1990 it had become the second largest economy in the world. But then in 1991, something happened that was going to change the entire future of Japan. In fact, before 1990, Japan was experiencing an economic boom, which no country in the world had experienced before. Real estate was going up, the stock market was at its peak, banks were continuously printing money, and taking a loan was so easy that banks did not even ask why you needed a loan. But then one day this whole bubble burst. Japan's stock market fell 43% between 1990 and 1991. Real estate prices also fell by more than 50% due to the unlimited supply of loans. People literally created zombie companies, which had gone bankrupt many years ago, but it was never closed because it had received a loan from the bank. The Japanese market collapsed so badly that no one wanted to invest in it anymore. Japan had now become the sick man of Asia from the economic tiger, but such ups and downs keep occurring in economies. So what is so different with Japan? In fact, something was going to happen to Japan, which was going to impact an entire generation. To understand this incident, we have to understand the job culture of Japan. Your corporate career in Japan starts with Shushoku Katsudo. This is a job hunting process that every university graduate has to go through. All big companies hire only fresh graduates, and every candidate has to go through a lot of interviews and screening procedures. Candidates who clear this tough process get a lifetime job as per Shishinkoyo policy. Basically, in Japan, if you get a job in a company, you cannot leave it for the rest of your life. This is not a law, but the culture has become so strong that no one gives a job to someone switching jobs. One advantage of this is that you get job security. This means you are not worried that you will be fired tomorrow, but on the other hand, the job market is very rigid. You spend your whole life with just one company, and whatever decision that company takes, you have to accept it. The hiring procedure was the same even in the 1990s, and this continues till today. If you cannot clear this interview process, then understand that you will never get a job. This is a door that opens only once. During the economic crisis of 1990, all the big companies froze their hiring, and this hiring remained stopped like this for the next 13 years. This period is also called Japan's employment ice age. People who graduated in 1990, he did not get any job for the next 13 years. And when the recruitment opened again in 2004, he was 30 to 40 years old. And no Japanese company wanted to hire him, because they only hire fresh graduates. This was a bad generation. Approximately 20 million people who are also called the lost generation of Japan. Some people of this lost generation now work in low-paying jobs, but most of the people live with their parents and dependent on them. That means millions of people aged between 30 to 40 years who still survive on their parents' money. Some of these people are hikikomori, meaning These are those people who were so disappointed during this period that they completely cut themselves off from the society. They stay at home all day, live on parents' money, neither do any work nor have any contact with anyone. And this is where Japan's second problem begins. Japan is one of the few countries in the world where people live a very long life. 30% of Japan's population is above 60 years of age, and that is why Japan is also called a super-aging country. A major reason for this super-aging population is the lost generation, who never married due to lack of financial stability, and because of this, the young generation that these 20 million people were supposed to produce could not come into the world. Due to not fulfilling the expectations of the society, today these people live completely cut off. How many people have committed suicide, and how many have gone into depression? This condition of these people has an impact on the society also, because millions of these people should have been in jobs. And all that money which should have come into the market, that money did not come due to the absence of these people. The current government of Japan is now very concerned about these people, and he is trying to somehow make these people stand on their feet. But at present, the Japanese government has not achieved much success in all this, and the reason for that is that rigid job culture, in which only fresh graduates are hired, and then he cannot leave that company for the rest of his life. Every year many people who do not get jobs after graduation are joining this lost generation. Now will the Japanese government be able to solve these problems or not? And will this lost generation be the solution to Japan's downfall? Only time will tell. And friend, today's video end here. I hope you got some information from this video. Thanks for watching.